Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Episode 206. Hello and welcome to the best bits of the Atom Radio Breakfast Show. Another week has gone by and another set of episodes, well, another set of shows becomes another episode. Be handy, wouldn't it, if I knew what I was going to say. But I hope that you are well whenever it is that you are checking out this podcast. And on the way this week, we have not being happy when you get just exactly what you asked for. We have faking it. We have things that you could do, but you choose to put off doing. We've got January. We've got the weather. And, well, possibly 2023 politically correct vocabulary.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
You know, Neil Armstrong had to fill in an immigration form while coming back to the Earth from the moon. Nowadays, he'd have been all right, wouldn't he? If he'd have done it by boat, he would have been absolutely fine if he was landing back in this country.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Sam Smith is frustrated that no women are nominated for Best Artist Award at the Brits 2023. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it Sam Smith who was the big push behind the non-gender awards and now moaning that what everybody said would happen has happened?
Mark Denholm at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
Monday top tips for you. You may lose people you love. You may lose things that you have. But whatever happens, never lose yourself. And also, you were born to make mistakes, not to fake perfection. Do you know what? I know someone, and that just rings a bell to me. I know someone who has this fake, perfect Instagram life. And I just know that. And it's fake, and it annoys me. I don't even know why I still follow them.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Morning, welcome to Tuesday. Mark Denholm at breakfast, banging out the anthems. I was just thinking earlier on, I mentioned the probe into the BBC chief after arranging Boris Johnson's £800,000 loan. You've got Nazim Zahawi with his £4.8 million repayment to HMRC, and yet some of the Tories are saying that nurses on 30 grand a year need to budget better if they're using food banks. However, the Prime Minister on £144,000 a year, well, no, he couldn't cope on that. And the Chancellor at the time, apparently that he made the deal with HMRC, he couldn't cope either with his £20 million share sale. And yet they're saying to nurses who work much harder than they do and do much more valuable work than they do on 30 grand a year that they should budget better.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
And therefore, the top 5 of things that you could do but you choose to put off for this week stacks up like this. At 5, giving up smoking. At 4, cleaning the car during the winter weather when you know it's just going to get filthy again. At 3, stepping on the scales after a bad week, you know, breaking the New Year's resolution and that. At 2, it was selling golf clubs that came in, but I'm going to say selling something that you really don't want to sell. And the top thing that you choose to put off that you could do now, but you choose to put off this week's top 5, number 1, getting out of bed.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
I do hope that you are well as we kick off Hump Day. Here we are already at the middle of the week, and there's now under a week left in January. Yippee! The 51st and final week of January, eh? That's what it feels like to me. I will often offer my thoughts on, the weekend has flown, has flown by, or the week has dragged a little. I don't know about you, but January has dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. I mean, I'm not normally someone that gets, all that bothered about January. But this year I fully get it when people say, oh my, January has dragged on, because it has. Today, though, 25th of January, means that this time next week will be pinching a punch for the 1st of February at last. And it seems so long ago that we did pinching a punch for the 1st of January.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
I'd be happy, right? People say, oh, you can't moan, it's winter. And then people say in the summer, oh, you can't moan, it's summer. I'd be happy if we could get rid of winter and summer and we could just have spring all year round. I'd be perfectly happy with that. And then there's no defrosting the car, there's no dripping in sweat because it's so hot and you're wearing shorts and t-shirt and flip-flops and you can't wear anything less and still be decent. No, I'd be perfectly happy if we could just have spring all year round. And I know that is going to cause controversy and there will be arguments over it, but I'm just offering my view.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
19 minutes to 7 o'clock. Morning. Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio. I'm thinking, right, if you get a promotion at work and you become in charge, you become a manager, right? And also, you become part of the management group, right? But it's 2023. Everything has to be neutral. So if you get a promotion at work now, you become a personager rather than a manager. You become part of the personagement group rather than the management group. I can see a day, if I'm honest, where that will come. Yeah. You're going to have to ask your personager rather than your manager. I can just see it. In 2023, it's going to come. Is it not?
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Well, I mean, it may be a little over the top, wouldn't it? Being a personager. Maybe a little over the top, but I don't know. I mean, you know, Yorkie is no longer not for girls, is it? So, in terms of being a manager, can you be a manager or not? I don't know. It may change. Anyway, on that bombshell, thank you so much for checking out episode 206 of the Atom Radio Best Bits of Breakfast podcast. You can check out the show Monday to Friday, atomradio.co.uk, online radio box and on TuneIn as well. You can, of course, stream it in your car. You can listen at home on your smart speaker too. Just say the name of your smart speaker and play Atom Radio on TuneIn and it'll happen. I would appreciate your company if you can make it for a show 6 until 10, Monday to Friday. And there will be episode 207 of the podcast next weekend. Thank you for listening. And don't forget, as always, whether you're listening in your favourite podcast app or whether you're listening to the visualization version, that's quite a mouthful, isn't it, on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.